Becoming a magician takes thousands of hours. Right, Ashley?
Oh, I'm not a magician. I'm a design specialist at the Container Store.
But you transform closets and pantries.
Well, I turn your most frustrating spaces into ones you love.
With a magic wand?
With Alpha, our customizable, adjustable, and affordable shelving and drawer system.
The amazing Ashley! Making daily frustration disappear.
Just doing my job.
Transform your space with Alpha and save 20% on purchases over $500. Get started with your free design at the Container Store today.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final edition of Post Puroresu for the year, and actually the final show period from Post Wrestling in 2021. I am John Pollock, joined as always by WH Park. WH, a happy almost New Year to you.
Yeah, happy almost New Year to you as well, John. We're closing out 2021. Maybe not necessarily with a bang, but certainly not with a whimper.
No. Well, the city, I think, is kind of ending the year on a bit of a whimper. It's I don't even want to talk about the pandemic. I think people are so tired of hearing about all of it. I'm sure you are. I definitely am. But yeah, we've got 2022 to look forward to.
I will be ringing in 2022 with a booster shot that's been scheduled for next week, sometime in the early part of next year.
What are you? Are you Team Pfizer? Are you Team Moderna?
I'm a Pfizer man.
Oh, okay.
It's all Pfizer and me, baby.
Man, I'm all Moderna, you know. But hey, sometimes you know you and I we've got all our bases covered.
That's right. We can swap stories with Wei and Mike Murray. Mike Murray's like AstraZeneca, and then I think he's Pfizer, so he's all cocktailed up.
Oh yeah, well he can fight anything that comes his way. So right. Let us get into what's going to be a very packed show that will all culminate with WH Park's annual year-end awards. He has isolated several categories, and he will give his choices and let us know what. On a year that WH, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like you have been a little down on pro wrestling as a whole this year, but you did glean some positives from the year for the year-end awards.
I mean, just as a kind of a mild spoiler, like the thing I felt the most passionate about wrestling this year was Joshi wrestling. Like anytime like I got excited about something I watched from Japan, it wasn't New Japan, it wasn't Noah, it wasn't All Japan, it wasn't Dragon Gate, it wasn't DDT. It was Stardom usually, and in some cases, sometimes it was, Seed Ring or Ice Ribbon or some other thing. And I just got to think it has to be because the booking in these companies is actually, consistently logical and good. And God forbid, like we should have that across the world,
Well, what has it been like for you? That is, like you've had your like peaks and valleys of following Stardom, but you follow it pretty consistently. And to see the leaps and bounds, I think it has made in 2021. I think you have to within context. This is not something like, Stardom is suddenly this mainstream product in Japan, but it was for their 10th anniversary year. If you look at where Stardom was 1 year ago today, this has been a tremendous year for them.
I think for me personally, it's like looking at their roster and seeing how there is a constant trend of elevation, and there's a constant desire by people in the company to want to make new stars and to keep things fresh, which I find no pun intended refreshing, because like I look at the New Japan roster and I don't feel anything fresh about that. I don't want to pick on New Japan. It's also like Noah and All Japan now. It's very hard to get into these companies if you're a fan who likes to see, like people become stars, like get new, fresh interactions between different wrestlers and different factions and things. And you get that from Stardom, and you get that from, I think, Joshi in general. There's like this trend in Joshi to create new stars in general. And I think we as fans that follow it are reaping the benefits of that.
Well, we're going to kick things off by going into Stardom's huge Dream Queendom show. But is there anything, WH, that makes you feel as old as when these matches are happening and they put up like the date of birth graphic? Azumi, born October 2002.
I try not to think about it, John. I really don't. I just like, are they good wrestlers? Are they putting on an entertaining match? That's great. I don't really think about how old they are and how old I am.
Well, I mean, it does showcase their youth movement. And this was, a big event for them taking place from Ryogoku Sumo Hall in front of 3,039 fans. And WHU had actually just sent me this earlier about an article on Stardom and just the increase that they have made under Bushiroad over the past number of years, that they have gone from 7th place among professional wrestling operations in Japan, from 7th to 3rd overall in tickets sold. And now Stardom is the number 2 promotion for average attendance, surpassing Dragon Gate, who for the number 3 spot.
Yeah, it's amazing to think about, Stardom and really Joshi as a whole, like maybe 3 years ago, not that long ago, and to see the progress that the whole scene, because like what's the rising tides bring up all the ships. I think that's true with Stardom. Like as you get into like getting into these shows, especially I think if you're bringing in new fans, especially like maybe bridging out to like the women fans who might not have been into Joshi for whatever reason, which is weird to think about. The peak of Joshi was like predominantly female fans, to seeing maybe they come into through Stardom and they say, oh, who are these wrestlers from another company like Marvelous or something like that? I'm going to check out Marvelous. And then through Marvelous, maybe you get exposed to Sendai Girls. And then through Sendai Girls, maybe you get exposed to Ice Ribbon and Seed Ring and things like that. So I think, we got to also kind of talk about, to some extent, like the fact that Stardom does have kind of open doors with a lot of the other Joshi promotions, that it's benefiting the whole scene in so many positive ways.
So today's show, actually on Wednesday's show, again, the attendance was 3,039. We also have a fantastic report, as usual, from Karen Peterson that is up on the site. If you not just want great review of the show, but also putting a lot of the stories and matches into their proper context. And I think it will explain a lot if you are somebody that is, new to the product. I think it's a great guide as well about kind of what some of the characters symbolize. And I would say especially WH for the Julia Konami match. I mean, that one was an extremely sentimental match in memory of Hana Kimura.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think you dubbed Karen on the Christmas show the Rookie of the Year, and I can't argue with that title for her. I think she's just acquitted herself so well, like joining our team, and such a really great resource for our listeners and our the people who visit the site and want more information. Like, oh, it's a Stardom show that like maybe WH and John talk about really highly of, like, what's it about? Can I get into it? And like, if you read Karen's reports of any of the shows that she's reviewed, you can, like, it's very, very easy to like understand like the context and the storylines behind them, because, not every show is going to have English commentary or English subtitles or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, like she does synopsis, spoiler-free synopsises. So you can read a bit of it and then go watch the show. Or if you just watch the show and then go read it, you're going to get, that's what that meant.
Yes. Rookie of the Year, following such luminaries, past Rookie of the Years, including Andrew Thompson and WH's man, Eric Marcoche.
That's right. Mr. Marcoche. He told me, I don't know if you heard, John, he said that Marcotte is the French pronunciation.
Yes,
And I
yes, this is breaking news.
And I said that's the French Canadian pronunciation, but the French pronunciation is Marcochet.
Well, I caught the last 5 matches of the show, so I did not see the first 3. It opened with Fukujin Death was defeating. Sorry, with was this the 4-way? What was the opener?
It was a 5-way battle. Which
5-way.
I'll be honest, I skipped.
Okay, fair enough.
Fukigen Death. Karu Yoyama, that's the person underneath the gimmick, taking on Waka Tsukiyama, Lady C, Saki Kashima, and Rina, and it's just the opener, just to kind of like, get
Tsukiyama was going to do English commentary with Stuart Fulton right after this match. I saw the Japanese version of the show, so I didn't hear the English commentary, but I believe Tsukiyama was going to do this match and then jump on to do color commentary for the rest of the show.
Yeah, so I also just watched the Japanese version, so I don't know how. I'm sure Stuart Fulton always does a great job with any wrestling show he commentates, whether it's Noah or
he might be the most valuable resource for any of these companies when it comes to expanding to an English speaking audience in 2021.
Oh, for sure. I mean, last time I heard his commentary for Stardom, he had Mina Shirakawa as his color commentator, so that was okay. I mean, I don't know, I don't know how Tsukiyama acquitted herself. Hopefully well enough. But I'm sure Stuart was more than adequate to help keep things on track.
Hanan defeated Ruka to win the Future of Stardom Championship. And then the Artists of Stardom Championship saw Maika, Himeka, and Natsupoi retain their championships against Mina Shirakawa, Unagi Sayaka, who would get involved later for a challenge being issued, and Mai Sakurai. So that is those are the matches I did not see, but the first 2 very short matches, and then the Artists of Stardom Championship just going over 13 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you can skip Future Stardom Championship. It's okay. I mean, if later on, if either Hanan or Raka become bigger stars, go back. You can watch this on the Stardom World Archives. But I definitely would recommend watching the Artists of Stardom Championship. Like Donna Del Mundo, especially this trio of Maika, Himeka, and Natsupoi are really, really good. But Cosmic Angels did really well as in the match as well, because like Mina Shirakawa and Nagi Sayaka have excellent chemistry, and Mai Sakurai, as kind of like the new member of Cosmic Angels, acquitted herself well. But it was a really hard hitting match, and that's something I really love about Stardom, John. It's like there
was some hard hitting stuff.
There is really stiff shots in here, and that's we'll talk about the Konami, Julia match, but one of the things that they were saying was the phrase bachi bachi, which is something that people would say in reference to Katsuyori Shibata and the way he wrestled, because it's very much in reference to battle arts, which is like bachi bachi was kind of like the nickname for their kind of style, really stiff.
The next match was the high-speed championship with Starlight Kid, Koguma, and Azumi. 19-year-old Azumi, again, born in October of 2002, when I was in my final year of high school. Koguma recently offered a full-time contract. And this match, where it culminated, first of all, Koguma went for this Mahistral cradle on Starlight Kid, but it was a counter. So the referee was making the count, and then as the counter was made, he didn't take any kind of break. It was just he kept the same rhythm. So it was this confusion, as if he had counted 3 and the bell rang, but it had actually been a 2 count, and the women had kicked out on time. But it was because of this count. It was just one seamless strike of the mat after the other that made it feel like a 3 count, and just caught everyone's attention because the bell did ring, thinking this was the finish. So timekeeper not smartened up here to what was going to be the outcome.
I don't mind things like that, because it makes it seem more realistic, if something is not necessarily perfect in a wrestling match, that's good. That means, hey, it's not all choreographed or anything like that. But I'm not a huge fan of when a referee hits the mat to count, it sounds like that's the 1 count, the first, but then they do the second 3, but the 3 is actually the 2. So it is kind of confusing, but you know what? You can't really blame the referee, because these wrestlers, they were if you blinked, you probably missed 10 moves.
The final 2 minutes are, if you enjoy the fish out of water sequence, that is a staple everywhere. This was the ultimate version of it for pretty much 2 minutes, and it was unbelievable. It ended with Starlight Kid shoving Koguma into Azumi and then winning with the roll-up. But these final 2 minutes, it was just like your jaw's just hanging on the floor watching the sequences here from all three of them.
I gotta say, post-match, like Starlight Kid's like just demeanor and just her just being an asshole to Koguma.
She's fantastic.
She is such a great heel, John. Like I don't know too many people who embrace and really want to, kind of be a heel. Like try not to. She doesn't want to be liked. She don't want to be a cool heel. She just wants people to hate her. And you admire the artistry of it, but my guy, like if you just watch it from the context of like the storyline, it's like, man, I really want to see her lose that title. And so as a heel, she's doing a really good job. And I'm very, very excited to see the one-on-one rematch for that title between Azumi and Starlight Kid, which is, I think, something that will probably be a feature match sometime early next year.
That's what this felt like it would be the next logical championship match with Azumi not included in the pinfall. Julia and Konami. This was, as we mentioned, this was an extremely emotional match for those that know the history. And Julia coming back after her neck injury that took her out of the 5-star Grand Prix back in September. And, from the reports that were out there, WH, it looked like that was going to be her tournament to win. And she would have been the one challenging for the World of Stardom Championship on this card.
Yeah, I mean, things happen in wrestling and things, take a turn, and sometimes it takes a turn for the better, at least in my opinion.
I think this worked out so much better. Like this was the story of the year culminating that I thought that this worked out better. And Julia is, someone that you can go to that program down the road. This did not, to me, need to happen today. And they went with something that probably at the beginning of the year, they didn't expect Syuri to be the star that she would become, and this feud would be so influential for Stardom. I thought they went with what was the stronger option that was handed to them.
Oh, and with Julia, it's like you can insert her in any kind of main event program, and you could insert her into the role of being the red champion anytime, and it's fine. You can wait with her because she's already a star. Like she just exudes so much charisma, and there is an aura about her whenever she's on TV that it's like, she's definitely one of the featured players on the Stardom roster, and rightfully so. Like there is, I think, something very compelling about watching Julia's like promos and her wrestling, of course.
So Konami is going to be going on an extended, indefinite hiatus after this match. She had battled acute enteritis earlier this year and has stated that she needs to go, treat her condition, and is hopeful of returning. But it seems that her future is at least in doubt.
Yeah, it's a shame. Like I really, really hope that she's able to come back, 100%, health. I don't want her to come back if she can't be 100% healthy, return to the ring. But she is just such an awesome in-ring performer. And this match showcased her abilities and like what she can bring to any company. But I really get the feeling that, that she's going to return. She can return. She's going to return. And there's so much like storylines that you can just insert as soon as she comes back. It's like, okay, put her with Syuri, whether it's a rival or as a tag team. My God, that would be amazing. Against Julia, against, maybe, if Oedo Tai are still around, like she's going to be joining them again or be rivals with them. Who knows? But the possibilities are endless for Konami.
Again, Karen Peterson did a really great job of kind of outlining the symbolism in this match. And it was evident right from the beginning when you had Konami coming out in her Tokyo Cyber Squad gear, and then Julia with her hair done up and the colors that she was in. Like you knew from the beginning, as soon as these two walked out, this was going to very much be essentially a tribute match for Hana Kimura on Konami's farewell night.
Oh, yeah. And I kind of zoned out about the Julia's tribute, but like like the announcers are going on about TCS Tokyo Cyber Squad about when Konami comes out. It's like, oh, that's great. That just shows you like what an influence like Hana Kimura was on both Julia and on Konami. But the match itself, John, my God, this was stiff, and I loved every minute of this match. It's just amazing to see two really talented professional wrestlers just put their craft on display and be able to do what they want without pretty much any restrictions, really.
Yeah, you really got the sense like Konami was going out and just leaving it all out here. It's like, I'm just going to have as great a match as I can on my last show here for the time being. They started with like a really nice handshake, and then boom, the bell rings and they're just tearing into one another. Both at different times attempted the package pile driver, the Tiger Lily, that was Hana's move, with both looking up to the sky, and it was Konami's that was blocked, and then Julia hit the move, and Konami later popped up from a Saito suplex. That looked like a lot of fun to take, and in the end, it was Julia winning with the glorious driver in 13 minutes and 7 seconds. Very emotional ending where the two kind of embraced and left to the back together. But this seemed like this was like the audience knew what all of the symbolism was. And this was like kind of like your emotional peak of the show. And you kind of knew that going in with the circumstances around Konami, that this was going to be a farewell, and you already had that. And when you mix in all of the tribute spots, like this was certainly a big, like, emotional ride for the audience.
Oh, I can't even imagine what it would be like for people who've followed Konami for most of her career, especially in her Stardom career, to be there live for this match. I'm kind of jealous, to be honest, John. I kind of wish I was at that show for this match at the very least. But yeah, like, I definitely think this was an emotional peak, and I think Karen put it really well. Like, you needed kind of like some other matches on the card to kind of be the palate cleanser.
Yeah, and they had the tag that followed with Takumi Aroa of Marvelous and Mayu Iwatani taking on Hazuki and Momo Watanabe. And do you want to just keep or catch everyone up to speed on Momo Watanabe and recently joining Oedo Tai?
So they had this match recently between Oedo Tai and Queen's Quest, and it was called a Captain's Fall match. So the only way you can win the match is if the captain, in this case, would have been for Queen's Quest, Momo Watanabe, and for Oedo Tai would have been Starlight Kid. And whoever lost the match, the captain had to join the other faction. So there's at one point, Momo has a chair. She's about to hit Starlight Kid, but she turns on Azumi, her longtime partner in Queen's Quest. So you have to understand, like, the original four members of Queen's Quest is the leader, Yoshirai, then Hazuki, Azumi, and Momo Watanabe. So, Momo and Azumi have been like original Queen's Quest members for the entirety of the faction's history. And so it was a big deal for, Momo to turn on Azumi. It would have been different if she hit Saya Kamitani or Utami Hayashishita, but the fact that she hit Azumi with the chair, and this caused her and then she joined Oedo Tai essentially, but she wanted to join because she's just frustrated with being kind of like the leader of Queen's Quest and not really being the featured member of Queen's Quest. So I think it's great. I think it's something that she needed for a long time, was like kind of a change of pace, kind of a facelift as well. And yeah, I'm excited to see what 2022 has for Momo Watanabe. And
how about Momo Watanabe's Oedo Tai gear? Can we maybe, the black T-shirt? Maybe we can improve the look in.
Okay. So I was thinking about this. Yeah. So basically, she reverted back to her old like tights and kick pads, and then she just put on like a T-shirt. And I'm like, this looks like shit, right? She needs to get a fucking like badass singlet, like something like that Meiko Satomura would wear, but like maybe all black and shit. Yeah, this T-shirt fucking shit. Get rid of that.
The T-shirts are really hard to get.
No.
The T-shirts are not a great look for any wrestler.
If you think about who else, like everyone else, like that's in Oedo Tai, they all have pretty decent gear. And then Momo just looks like shit. Like it's fine for now. I'm pretty sure they're probably just working on it, and then she'll debut some really cool costume in the future. But this match is really interesting, John. It's called the 10th anniversary reunion tag. So all of these people all the women in this match are Stardom kind of original. So Mayu and Takumi Iroha were, trained together. Then Takumi Iroha left to join Marvelous. But when she was in Stardom, she probably helped train Hazuki and Momo Watanabe. You could see like there's some interaction going on with Takumi and Momo. And then Hazuki was an original member of Queen's Quest with Momo, and then she joined Oedo Tai, and they feuded. So it's really interesting, the dynamics for a fan like me who was kind of started watching Stardom at during the kind of the peak of Io Shirai's version of Queen's Quest, to see like Hazuki and Momo Watanabe reteam as a tag team in this match to kick on like their senpais in Mayu Iwatani and Takumi Iroha. It was really fascinating for me, but also like, okay, Hazuki and Momo are also now on opposite sides of the fence, so to speak, babyface and heel and the such. So I really loved this match. I thought the work in it was exemplary and themselves, but the storyline, the background context, which you really have to understand, like all the different interconnections between all four of them to really appreciate it. And like, I'm lucky that I could understand, I'd say 75 to 85% of the interactions.
I thought Hazuki was tremendous in this match. I really enjoyed her. I'm a big fan of Takumi Iroha, but those two together, there were a lot of like double team spots with like Iroha and Mayu when they were in with Hazuki, and that all kind of culminates when Momo all of a sudden attacks Hazuki and kind of just leaves her partner there, and Hazuki tries to fight back but is outnumbered, takes a crucifix bomb, and it ends with a top rope moonsault from Mayu and pins Hazuki in 15 minutes, 35 seconds. And continuing, I guess, the story of Momo Watanabe and her actions of joining Oedo Tai and kind of what the reaction will be of being in this group and now kind of attacking Hazuki. What her intentions are.
I hope in 2022 we get more Mayu and Takumi tag team action, because I think these two are just such a great pairing. And there's so much history with them as well, of course, but the chemistry they have as a team, so good.
Their matches that they had, it was like 2 matches that they had last year, and like they just were fantastic matches. I recall watching. So then it was our second to last match of the show, with Tom Nakano defending the Wonder of Stardom Championship against Saya Kamatani. Just days before, they will team together on the second night of Wrestle Kingdom. This is a rematch from the Yokohama Dream Cinderella from this past summer that Nakano won. However, we have Kamatani here, who did not use the Phoenix Splash in that match. So that was kind of a backdrop here for the significance of the ending to all of this, where she would finally use it. The way I ended up watching the show, I ended up watching this match first, and I watched this WH, and I thought, there's nothing topping this. This 22 minutes was like incredible. And we'll talk about the main event. We're going to gush about the main event. And I'm sure that the memories of this show will be centered around the main event, but it will be a crime if this match is overlooked. It was outstanding. In particular, like some of the like matches, like I thought in the main event, there were at times where you feel you have to get in a certain amount of near falls. In this one, I thought it was just about perfect the way they peaked this match, and each kick out was bigger than the last, and it was just like an unbelievable final sequence. But these two, this was like an unbelievable match. If this was the main event, I would have left very satisfied.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's almost a shame that people, aren't going to give Tom Nakano her due as Wonder of Stardom.
She had an amazing year. Yeah. And it's going to be, you're right, it is going to get, I think, overshadowed by like the two main event competitors. It was just that kind of a year. But yeah, well, like I have not watched every big show, but Tam Nakano has been as consistent as it's come this year.
And the good thing about this though, John, is that she's been elevated by being a great Wonder Stardom champion. And to me, is like the Wonder Stardom champion is akin to like the how the WWF Intercontinental title was used as kind of like the the prelude, like, oh, let's test them out with this belt and see how they do, and then maybe we'll give them a run with the world title. And I think she's shown that she can hang at a championship level, and like she's going to be a big star for Stardom come 2022. And I wouldn't be surprised if she gets the red belt at some point next year.
There was one of the most frightening spots on this entire show when Kamitani slides out during the struggle on the turnbuckle and comes back with this brutal Poison Rana, sending Tom Nakano off the second turnbuckle right onto her head for a near fall. This, I just gasped watching this.
Me too. I jumped out of my seat. I was like,
God.
Oh my God.
It was a nasty landing. It did not look good the way she took this.
I almost thought they were going to end the match because,
my God,
how brutal that
was. This was like the midway point. Like they went probably another 10 minutes after this. Thankfully she appeared to be okay. But if you watch this, it was very, very scary. Nakano then fires back, uses a tiger suplex off the second turnbuckle. Each are down and they're selling very heavily. Each is reaching for the other's hand. And we get Nakano with a spin kick and Shining Wizard for a 2 count, a tiger suplex for another 2 count. And then things really pick up. So the arms are trapped for this variation of the tiger suplex. Kamitani gets into the rope. This is the violent screwdriver followed by the Twilight Dream. And then we get into a series of 1 counts that each kick out of. And Kamitani uses the Star Crusher for a 2 count, finally goes to the top, and she has to pull out the Phoenix Splash that wins the match for her, hitting the move and wins the championship in 22 minutes from Tam Nakano. And Nakano just puts her over, puts the belt around her. Like this was a real true elevation to me of Saya Kamitani, who was, you could see of the major projects this year, she was very high on the list, and it culminates in this championship win.
I think Saya Kamitani is the epitome of like how good the Stardom Dojo is. like you and I, we saw her at Shikiba First Spring. She was like, not the opening match. She was like really bottom of the card, just as a young, talent, getting her, kind of getting her dues paid, and getting her reps in to become a better wrestler. And like 2 years later, she's, the Wonder Stardom champion. She's one of the best workers in this company, which is saying something.
She debuted in August of 2019. Think about that.
Yeah. And like we talk about like Utami. Utami's like, she's a prodigy, but like Saya Kamitani is close to being as good of a prodigy as Utami. I say Utami has always been just a little bit better than just almost anyone else. But it goes to show you like there's something in the water at the dojo there, and and it's a testament to how good her trainers are in that dojo to have like someone so young and with only pretty much 2 years experience to be this good. My only thing is she really needs to get rid of the tassels. That's all.
The tassels, that is a red flag right there, but an unbelievable match. If people thought this was the match of the show, I'm not disagreeing either. We go to and then Unagi Sayaka came out, so that looks to be the next challenger for Kamitani. World of Stardom Championship, as well as the SWA Championship, title versus title, Utami Hayashishita and Syuri. And of course, they had their 43-minute draw this past June at Tokyo Dream Cinderella. They followed that with the 20-minute draw as part of the 5-star Grand Prix. And that takes us to our third match. And going into this WH, like how big of a match did this feel for you and your own impressions on the 2 matches for maybe people that have not heard our thoughts earlier this year?
Well, the first one, the 43-minute TKO time limit draw was like amazing. Like I love that match, and it just kind of validated the kind of the admiration I had for Syuri, and like the kind of thoughts I had, like, oh, she should be pushed harder and higher than she is, and like where you'd think she would have been pushed in Donna Del Mundo, and then I liked the 5-star Grand Prix match, but I just thought it was kind of unnecessary. I didn't think they should have been in the same block. Nothing about this match changes that, but it's fine for what it was. But it was designed to like build up to this match, which I gotta say, this is probably the match that had my interest, like from the minute that I knew it was going to happen. I was like, okay, I have to see this match. I have to watch it unspoiled. And thank God I watched it unspoiled. I made sure I stayed off Twitter. I stayed off most social media, and I was able to watch this unspoiled. So I did not know the outcome.
Did you like my headline on the site?
I didn't see
main event outcome between Hayashishita and Syuri.
That's good. You didn't spoil it. Unlike Way with the Spider-Man No Way Home review headline on the site, apparently that John Cena complained about.
No, that was me.
That was you.
The photo was me.
That was you. Okay, well, thanks, John. Well, I don't care. I didn't see it, so it was fine. But John Cena
posted that absolutely zero knowledge that was. I literally Googled Spider-Man No Way Home, and I'm only looking for dimensions. I'm like, this is the proper dimensions that I need for the photo. So, you know what, guys? Too bad.
Anyways, of all the things that have been announced for, like, let's say between December 29th and January 8th, John, this is the thing that I was the most excited about. And you know what?
Until they announced what Muto was doing on Janury 8th, right?
Oh, well,
that's all to come. We're going to preview those.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Yeah. And let's not get ahead of ourselves. But John, I love this match. I thought it was so good.
They went 36 minutes and 34 seconds, which, to be honest, I thought was like a pretty good length of, not I think people probably went into this match expecting them to go potentially an hour. They probably thought this one, could be a wide range of lengths. And I thought they kind of nailed the timing here. This Syuri's kicks are unbelievable. Like, this is, awesome. She's getting to that like Nakajima league. You know what I mean?
I think she's like there, John. Like, to be honest, like I mean, with Nakajima, you have to keep in mind he doesn't give a fuck. I think she gives a fuck.
That's both the blessing and the curse of Nakajima. Yeah. I'm not taking these kicks. I'm just.
I same here, but like I do think she cares a little bit more about her opponents and doesn't want to hurt them too much. Like Nakajima, he's just like, yeah, I'm going to kick you really hard. You better just take it and like it. I think Syuri is like, I say this about Syuri, like, if you love and miss Katsuyori Shibata, you should watch Syuri, because she will give you everything that was great about Katsuyori Shibata, but also...
Can we officially nickname her Kat Syuri?
No, let's not do that. Okay. Let's not do that. That I think that we'll get heat for that, John. So it's probably not a good idea. But I'm just saying, if you like that kind of style of wrestler, don't worry about Katsuyori Shibata, whatever he's going to be doing. Who knows? Watch Syuri, and you will not be disappointed. You'll get
maybe she'll be the opponent.
She'd kick his ass. She'd kick his ass, John. Like she would. Maybe
I would totally be down for a Shibata Syuri UWF rules match.
That would be very compelling, because like she can definitely hold her own. I mean, she was in the UFC, John. So she's. I know. Shoot fighter.
I knew her more of like her MMA career before the whole Stardom run and everything about that. So the first kind of intense spot of the match saw Syuri come off the apron with this senton attempt into a power bomb to the floor.
Oh no!
Oh, she comes back, dude. Lawn darts Utami right into the turnbuckle. The lawn dart, I don't know what it is. I cringe every time. I feel my vertebrae just contracting when I watch a lawn dart spot. Huge kicks from Syuri. She gets caught. And on the edge of the apron, there is this violent air raid crash by Utami as they come down. And, I watched it several times, and it's like Syuri comes down, and it's like her leg that like hits like almost her ankle more so hits the apron. So it makes a loud sound, and you're kind of like, oh my God, she's dead. And you watch it, and it's like she made a big sound with the leg, but it seemed like she landed as good as you're going to coming off a turnbuckle for an air raid crash.
I thought she might have broken like something in her leg, like her ankle or her.
Well, that is the part, like it hit hard, and it's either you can make a loud sound and feel little, or it's a loud sound and it still hurts like hell. It could have very well been the latter.
I hopefully it was didn't hurt that much, just a loud sound. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say this about the previous match, the Kamitani Tam Nakano match, is that felt like a modern, like New Japan main event, like say a 2017 Okada type match with like Naito or Tanahashi. That's what it felt like to me. Like that kind of had that aura about it. This match was more like, 90s All Japan.
I was just going to say, this was Budokan Hall.
This is Budokan Hall. And I don't know how you would find a more fitting way to end like Stardom's year than to have like a match with this amount of high impact, brutality, intensity, and drama all rolled into one match. And I was just loving every second of this, John, even though like I was like, oh God, are you okay? Are you okay? But it was still like, okay, you're continuing. So I'm going to still enjoy this match.
Syuri used a Kimura, suplexing her off the turnbuckle and then transitioned to a stretch muffler. And I love this. She trapped the arm with her leg, but Utami was still able to manage to reach. Like, I love little stuff like that in matches, just like trapping the arm just seamlessly. That was like a great little spot of this match.
She's so good. Like just incorporating grappling and submissions into these, the kind of the aftermath, a lot of her high impact moves like superplexes and bombs and things like that. And that's the other thing is like, if you love like grapplers, like just watch Syuri. Like she kicks people really hard.
These leg kicks that she hit so like a sequence of like 5 kicks that just rocked Utami. Like, my God. Utami's knee is like damaged here after a jackknife BT bomb that she hit. And that's why she hits the move, but the knee causes the delay. And Syuri grabs onto the rope, hits a second BT bomb, and then there's these spinning chops from Syuri, and ends up hitting her finish and wins the belt in 36 minutes and 34 seconds.
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't go an hour. Like I was really afraid of that when I saw the runtime of this match, like of the rest of the show when this match started. I was like, oh my God, are they going to an hour? Well, okay, I'm bracing myself, but I'm glad it didn't even reach their 43-minute mark, even that it ended when it did, because I thought it was perfect. And I think deliberately so, that they didn't want to like kind of hit those expectations of like, because I think people want to see tighter matches, not necessarily shorter matches, but tighter matches that don't necessarily want to run long for the sake of running long, because that's better if it's long. It's not. Trust me, like as a fan, I don't want to see long matches for the sake of being long. We gotta talk. We're praising, Syuri entirely here. Utami is fucking awesome. She comes out of this. She lost.
Well, she's a veteran WH. She's been wrestling for 3.5 years.
I still tell people this. I saw her first match. I sat behind her family at her debut match at Korakuen Hall, and to see what she has become, what she has achieved to becoming the red champion, and then in that title reign is to me mind blowing. That she's always had this level of talent, and it's just been fostered and nurtured, and it's grown over the last 2-3 years. And it doesn't matter that she's not the red champion anymore. She'll be the red champion again. She's so young too. And she is like the Okada of this company. She is going to have many, like the company will, like she will be, it will orbit around her. I think for years to come, and this is certainly a rematch that they can go to down the road, and probably will revisit maybe at the midway mark next year. You have the potential of having a rivalry between these two that could, be an equivalent, a Stardom equivalent of like Misawa and Kawada. And I don't say that lightly, John. I'm not just throwing that out there. I feel that aura from Utami and Syuri, like that these two can have a match again. It can be just as intense, but it'll be different. It won't be the same. And you could then revisit it again 5 years from now, and it'll still be awesome. And I hope we get something like that between these two. The thing now is that Syuri is the red champion. Kamitani is the Wonder Stardom champion. We have a new Future Stardom champion. It feels like a really, like, not a reset, but it's like, okay, this is the next phase for Stardom going into 2022. And I'm very excited about like what Kamitani does with the belt. I'm very excited about what Syuri is going to do as champion, because there's so many fresh matches you have with Syuri against pretty much anyone on this card, on this roster. And, the thing is with Syuri, she can make pretty much anyone look good. Doesn't matter what skill level they are. Like, you say, like, okay, this mid-carder is going to challenge Syuri. Syuri's going to make that fucking match as good as if one of the other main eventers challenged her.
So this was an awesome show. I would say the last two matches were match of the year contenders. I thought, the main event was terrific. It was my match of the show, but that Wonder of Stardom championship match, I love that match. I thought they just tore the house down, and that was not too far below the main event. So this is an excellent show to go out of your way and see. It was airing as a pay-per-view. So if you're a Stardom World subscriber, it should be up within a few days, correct?
Yeah, hopefully it will be. Honestly, like I have very mixed feelings about this pay-per-view kind of plan. I really think they should just, reformat Stardom World to handle streaming and try to draw in people to subscribe. Just pay the, essentially $10 to subscribe. If for $10, you're probably going to just subscribe and forget to cancel the subscription. And why would you? This is one of the best products in the last 2 years. Like, definitely for me, the best product of the last year. And this is like and it's not a year I've been super excited about it in professional wrestling, particularly in Japan.
If you want to catch more, do check out Karen Peterson's report up on the site. We went long there on the Stardom show, but I think that was, the big stuff to tackle. But we have a bunch of cards to preview. We're not going to go match by match because there's about 10,000 matches happening over the next week. But we'll touch on the highlights. And one of the reasons I want to do the show tonight is because if we had waited to do this Friday night or Saturday, that's when Noah will have its first show of the year on New Year's Day from Budokan Hall, where it's going to be headlined by Katsuhiko Nakajima against Go Shiozaki, a match I'm very excited for. Keno will defend the national championship against Kaito Kiyomiya. Tag titles. Get ready, folks. Welcome. Usher in the new year with Keiji Muto and Naomichi Marufuji defending against Masato Tanaka and Masaki Mochizuki, and Takeshi Sugiura, Kazushi Sakuraba, and Kenta making his return to Noah for the first time since that Marufuji anniversary show back in 2018, will take on Masa Kitamiya, Daiki Inaba, and Yoshiki Inamura. Those are the top four matches. There's also a junior heavyweight title match with Hayata and Yoshinori Ogawa. But I would say it's the top three matches that are going to have most people's interest. I'm stoked for this main event. I think it's going to be incredible between Nakajima and Shiozaki.
Did you hear about the added stipulation, John, that Go Shiozaki added that if he wins, not only will he become the GHC heavyweight champion, but Katsuhiko Nakajima must rejoin him in Axis and leave Kongo.
I was not aware of this.
And then Katsuhiko Nakajima says, that's not happening. So you're not going to win the title. And I'm not going back to being your partner in Axis.
I love it. Nakajima's only had the title for a minute. I really hope he gets a sustained run with this championship, but I think the bar is exceptionally high for the expectation that this match is going to have for people. But I think this is the perfect match, I think, to start the year, WH, because, Noah had a weird main event scene that was heavily focused around Muto for the first 6 months of the year. But I think that they have figured out where to fit Muto. He's going to have a place on the card. It's not in the main event. Because this main event scene is thriving in Noah. And I think they have a lot of interesting options to play. And this is, to me, an excellent, excellent match to kick the year off with. And could be a strong match of the year contender to kick off the year. It may be exceeded by the end of the week, but this match I'm very hyped for.
Oh, me too. I mean, just the built-in storyline between Nakajima and Shiozaki as rivals early in their careers, Then they become partners in one of the most popular tag teams in Noah's history in Axis. And then the breakup with Nakajima turning on Shizaki to join Kongo, and Shizaki returning now. And you could go either way. That's the beauty about this is like, I want to see Nakajima get a long run. I think he's going to retain. But hey, if they put the belt back on Shizaki, I wouldn't be surprised. I think eventually he'll be the champion again. He's one of those guys who's like in the company now. It's like his last title reign established him as like, a very solid, like, okay, reliable person that we need to like, take it off of somebody who put on Shizaki and he'll have another great run with it. I'm just looking at the last two matches. It's like, that's a great main event scene. Like, I've come around a bit more on Keno. Like, he's less angry all the time. So like, I don't think, he's just angry all the time. Now he's like, a bit more well-rounded in his like emotional spectrum. But like Keno, Kiyomiya, Nakajima, Shizaki, like, it's not a bad place to revolve a company around. I just need them to like bring up people like Inaba and Kitamiya a bit more. Inamura is obviously the long-term project, but they need to like kind of be more protective of this guy and keep him a fuck away from fucking Keiji Muto.
Well, I'd say like with Kiyomiya, like obviously like he is a major asset to them for their long-term future. But this is like a big week for Kiyomiya. Like he's in this match, and then you've got him on the Yokohama Arena show where, I mean, we'll go through that card, but I am expecting Kiyomiya to be the one to have to take the fall in that match.
Yeah.
And that's the total opposite of how I would use Kiyomiya on a card like that. He would be one of my showcases. And instead, I feel, maybe I'm just being too pessimistic, I feel he is going to be kind of the sacrifice in that match.
Well, if, he's teaming with Muto, and we all know who Muto's benefactor in Noah is, and that's the booker, the big Mark himself, no Sauron guy.
Well, let's move on to Wrestle Kingdom. 3 nights worth, WH. I know you would have been attending a grand total of 0 of these shows if you had the option. But it will kick off on Tuesday with night number 1. So main event has Shingo Takagi against Kazuchika Okada for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. El Desperado against Hiromu for the Junior Heavyweight title. Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi taking on Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi after they won the World Tag League for the tag titles. Tomohiro Ishii against Evil for the Never Openweight title. Katsuyori Shibata against TBA in a UWF rules match. We will find out the opponent. Do you think we're going to find out like right up at match time? That's when they're going to reveal the opponent?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why, if they know who it is, why keep it a secret till, unless it's like, oh, that person? Oh, okay. Why not?
And then the card rounds out with Naito, Sonata, and Bushi against Ospreay, Great-O-Khan, and Jeff Cobb. Tanahashi with Taguchi and Rocky Romero against Kenta, Taiji Ishimori, and El Phantasmo. Yo versus Sho, and the New Japan Rambo, that year in, year out, the most consistent match every year because it is one of the worst matches of the year. Drags like you wouldn't believe. And if you are someone that feels you have to wake up at 2:30 in the morning, you don't, because you do not need to watch this 36-minute match. That is the same match every single year. And I hate this match.
Yeah, it's complete fucking shit. I have to ask John, who is currently the never openweight champion?
The current champion is Ishii.
Oh, is it? If you told me it was Evil, I wouldn't have doubted you. Yeah. Is Ospreay in Japan? Has that been confirmed? Did he make it there?
I have not seen him in Japan. I would assume. I think he's got to be there if he's going to be on these cards by now, doesn't he? Yeah.
I mean, he would have had done some form of quarantine and testing to get into the country. So, of this show, I mean, honestly, the top 2 matches, Takagi versus Okada, I'm very, very excited. I'm looking forward to that. The excellent chemistry. And you know what? Like, holy shit. Anytime Desperado and Hiromu would get in the match, in the ring together, that's going to be phenomenal. That's going to be great. I mean, I hope we get another mask tearing again, because that was like, I want to see him lose that mask. I think there's so much potential in Mikami, becoming a wrestler, like just becoming like Mikami instead of being Desperado. And that could just be like something he goes back to or something like that. But yeah, those two matches, everything else is kind of like, okay, like Shibata, that's more curious than excitement, John. But like top two, I'm definitely legit excited about those.
I'll throw in, I think the tag title match is actually going to be pretty great. I think like this is a show that at least I think from the Shibata match onward, the wrestling should be pretty strong. Dick Togo aside, if he gets heavily involved, I will hate that. But here's a question about the Shibata match is that after seeing how this has all played out, like it was an amazing moment, the finals of the G1, but it was such a closely guarded secret that it was complete surprise. Would it have been more impactful, given that these shows kind of needed that extra oomph this year, had Shibata come out at the final night of the G1, or even wait till Power Struggle or something, and he comes out and he just announces January 4th, I have my match, and this would be his return, because we're getting like again an exhibition type match as we did back in October. If you had done Shibata and Zack on this card and announced it, like Shibata's return to me is something that I think would, if this was his first match back, if we had not seen the Zack match, like I think this would be treated like almost like a semi-main event on any of the nights.
Yeah, but the way you and I think, John, is not the way like Geto thinks and Dick Togo thinks. So like I think they don't want to. I feel this whole Shibata coming back on night one was really kind of how do I say? I think it was like really deceitful, because when they announced that he's going to wrestle on January 4th, like before they announced the actual rules of the match, people were like, "Oh, is he coming back?" He's like, and the excitement that I saw was like, I tempered myself. I was like, no, I don't see him like full Shibata or like more physical Shibata coming back. Like it's probably going to be another exhibition. And I was right. And it's like, that's cool and everything. Like, I'll take any Shibata over no Shibata, and safe Shibata is fine. But I do think it's going to wear thin after a while, like of him just doing exhibition style matches, unless you build a vision around him doing that and like have people like competing in that style like regularly on New Japan shows.
Does this opponent need to be more than just like one of the young lions? Because I think like you do have an audience. Like that's always the danger when you have a mystery opponent, is that you pretty much give license to your audience to let their imaginations run wild. And we're not getting anyone flying in for this show and you're not probably just able to pluck someone that's going to be at a level of a Zack Sabre Jr. So I think you've kind of put yourself into this corner where there is, I think, going to be a reaction to the level of opponent this is. And maybe they have a great card to play and pull out here that it's going to be really special. But I think those options are limited.
I think the best opponent to like appease the fans would be like a returning to Japan, Ren Narita. And because you also have the fact that he's Shibata's student over at the LA Dojo for the last year or so, and that he's kind of grown into kind of looking like Shibata with the haircut and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think if you had anyone else, like I can't see anyone else besides Narita being kind of like the person that would like pop the crowd, and that he can, do the style with Shibata, because I'm sure he's been training in it for the last year or so.
The main event, do you see Takagi or Okada moving on to the next night?
That's hard. Like I'm gonna gut feeling say, like this is my gut speaking, not my head, is Takagi. I think Takagi will go on, because I think you have like a built-in storyline with Takagi versus Ospreay, and that you can save, if you want to do Ospreay versus Okada, you can save it for down the line. But I'm gonna gut feeling say Takagi is gonna retain the title in this match.
The second night will feature either Takagi or Okada defending the championship against Will Ospreay. Kenta taking on Hiroshi Tanahashi in a no DQ match for the U.S. title. Jeff Cobb versus Tetsuya Naito. Sonata versus Great Okan. The House of Torture defending the never openweight 6-man tag titles against Goto, Yoshihashi, and Yo. A 4-way for the King of Pro Wrestling 2022 trophy that you've got to watch this Rambo to find out who these 4 will be. Mayu Iwatani and Starlight Kid taking on Tam Nakano and Saya Kamatani. And then opening the show is Robbie Eagles and Tiger Mask defending the junior heavyweight tag titles against Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo and Ryusuke Taguchi and Rocky Romero. This is a show. I think it's going to be an outstanding main event. Kenta and Tanahashi, I think it'll be a good match. I think Naito and Cobb will probably be really good. But this really feels like a show that we took one solid show and split it into two.
Yeah, you took one solid show. You took one solid bowel movement, John, and it turned into fucking diarrhea to me.
WH with the analogies.
Okay, Takagi or Okada versus Ospreay. Sure. I'm not so keen on Ospreay. I think he's really done himself damage by not being in Japan and just becoming an indie wrestler throughout the world. And I don't know, Kenta versus Tanahashi, I'm sure there'll be a lot of smoke and mirrors, but I don't want to see Tanahashi in a smoke and mirrors match, to be honest with you. So I'm not too excited. Hopefully I'll be pleasantly surprised by that. Naito versus Cobb, I think that should probably be the second best match on the show. And then everything else is it's a fucking Cork and Hall show. So it's a higher level Cork and Hall show, John.
Yeah, I mean, the Stardom match, it's I think it'll be interesting, but it's also one where it's sort of just, I don't know, I've been in the building for these Stardom matches, and even last year's show, I think you have an audience that is more and more familiar with these characters, but it still feels as though it's they're outside of their environment and they're kind of just treated like a outside showcase rather than something that the audience really gets emotionally into. But we'll see what kind of time they get as well on the show. It's one of the more interesting things on the second night for me. I mean,
for me, it's is this canon? Because Iwatani and Starlight Kid are feuding, and Nakano and Kamitani just had the big match. That team makes more sense because there was some mutual respect. But Starlight Kid is the biggest heel in the company, and Mayu is no sense on that side. So, I don't know. To me, it's I'm sure it'll be fun, but is it canon? Does it play into anything going into future Stardom storylines, which is the thing I'm most curious about.
And then we fast forward to next Saturday, where it will be the New Japan Noah card. And just so everybody knows, Wei and I will be doing shows on Tuesday and Wednesday reviewing the Wrestle Kingdom cards. And then next Saturday, WH and I will be doing a review of this card. And we may be joined by one Mike Murray. So look forward to that next Saturday on the site. And we've mentioned this several times, but I'm going to say it again because I do believe, WH, that come Saturday, when many fans of either New Japan or Noah go to watch this show and log on to New Japan World or Wrestle Universe, they're going to be very disappointed because this will not be on either respective streaming service. This is a pay-per-view card that you have to pay in addition to, and then it will appear on the streaming service, either Wrestle Universe or New Japan World. It'll be on both, but on a 7-day delay. And I definitely don't feel that message has been conveyed loudly enough to fans of either promotion.
And I don't even know how to order this thing.
I cannot tell you that. All I can tell you is this is a pay-per-view, and I hope that the information is fairly easily to access this week because I do have to order this show.
We're lucky, John. We have we're going to both contact Karen Peterson. She'll let us know how to order the show. Maybe we'll have to ask her to just put some information up on the website for us for the readers and the listeners at Post Puroresu out there. But you know what, John? We talked about this before. When they announced the concept of this show, I was like, "Whoa!" Everyone
was interested when they heard this. I think it was okay, totally. This is really, there was so much that you can work with here. There is something there. This is a great idea on its the immediate one sentence pitch of this show. I'm sold. I love it.
And the way they kind of promoted it in the press conference with
the stare downs,
the graphics that they used. I was like, okay, fuck yeah, we're gonna get some singles matches. I think we're getting one single match.
You know what it felt like? And I think you made this point when you did the show with Andrew Thompson was with these kinds of shows, you can see where it feels like what is a one-off. And I think you brought up the point that if they have several shows planned, I think it gives you a lot more flexibility with your booking because it's not all or nothing for one night that we're going to do these and you can't agree on any finishes. It's okay, Noah's going to get this win and New Japan's going to get this win, but then we're going to build to something bigger down the road. And this, I just think like this is a failing on both sides, that you acknowledge the need to work together for a show like this, but you're putting all your weight on the novelty of New Japan versus Noah. And it's just for the novelty of seeing some of these figures share a ring together, but you don't have that match that, man, if they had announced like a Nakajima versus Shingo, there would be so much buzz for that this week in the lead up to next Saturday. If you just had one of those big matches, I really believe it would have grabbed your audience, and that would have been a big match this week.
But it doesn't matter, John, because like the show, I believe it's sold out, like just on the gimmick alone. So like they once that happens, it's like I think like New Japan, it's a New Japan show. Like we have to keep in mind, this is a New Japan show. It's been very like, you know, kind of stressed to me by people who work on the Noah side that, oh no, this is a Noah show, WH. You can't really blame Noah too much for this. Okay, well, I'm not blaming anyone necessarily, but like I don't know, like this card, like I'm not excited about it.
If it's sold out, like obviously, like the concept works as a live event business. I would say though that it's another like it's two different metrics we're talking about. Like as a live event, obviously the concept has worked. As a pay-per-view, I think that is where that's going to be a tough sell for people on Saturday, that you have to pay above what you're paying monthly for either of these products. And there's probably some, like there's probably a decent percentage that subscribe to both services, and you're not getting it on either next Saturday. So the idea you're doing a pay-per-view, look what we just reviewed from Stardom. That was a pay-per-view. They asked you to go above and beyond for that level of show. And for this, like, I just think you needed that one dream match to justify a pay-per-view price tag.
I mean, I'm sorry. No offense to show fans out there, but Show versus Atsushi Kotoge is not a fucking dream match. Okay. None of these matches, honestly, are. There are two singles matches on this card: the Show Kotoge match, and then the dark match between Kosei Fujita and Yasutaka Yano. Which, honestly, I think that'll be a really like entertaining match, providing it airs on the stream. But yeah, the rest of this, like, let's just go through the highlights here. So we'll have LIJ of Tetsuya Naito, Shingo Takagi, Sanada, Bushi, and Hiromu against Katsuhiko Nakajima, Keno, Manabu Soya, Tadasuke, and Elijah, which there's enough players in this. Like, I think this could be a really entertaining 10-man tag that I would have put somewhere on this card. They have also stated that the match order has not been released yet, so we don't know what's going to close the show. Personally, I think Okada and Tanahashi against Muto and Kiyomiya probably is your main event. It's either going to be that or the 10-man, I suggest. I think it's Okada and Tanahashi.
That's what I think too.
Like, I mean, I do not see at least three of the people in this match saying, "Oh, we'll be the semi-main." No fucking way. Like, yeah, that's the main.
And I think Kiyomiya is going to be the sacrificial lamb in this match. I cannot see Muto taking this fall.
When this match was announced, John, I put out a tweet saying, "Well, I know who's losing this match, and it ain't fucking Keiji Muto."
Well, that's a consistent theme on a lot of these. Like, maybe they'll surprise us with some outcomes on this, but I mean, Evil and Dick Togo against Go Shiozaki and Masa Kitamiya. That is throwing a bone to Noah. Taichi, Minoru Suzuki, and Taka Michinoku against Takeshi Sugiura, Kazushi Sakuraba, and Kenta. Kenta will be on the Noah side in this 6-man. Zack Sabre Jr. and Yoshinobu Kanemaru against Naomichi Marufuji and Yoshinari Ogawa. Ishii, Goto, and Yoshihashi with Master Wato and Ryusuke Taguchi against Taisuke Harada, Hajime Ohara, Daiki Inaba, Yoshiki Inamura, and Kinya Okada. Desperado and Doki versus Yohei and Nosawa Rongai. This is going to be WH's wash and break, I would imagine. Taiji Shimori and Geto versus Hayata and Saiki Yoshioka. Atsushi Kotoge versus Sho in the dream match. Tenzan and Kojima with Nagata against King Tani, Mohamed Yone, and Akatoshi Saito, and Kosei Fujita versus Yasutaka Yano. Like, I think in a vacuum, I'll probably enjoy this show. I just think that there was so much opportunity here of what this card could have been, that I think it could have been the big show of the entire week. And it feels more so that it's kind of like this, this friendly get together of two companies.
You know, unfortunately, this show, like, look, on paper, it fails the fuck off test with me, John. It's like, Evil and Dick Togo versus Shiozaki and Kitamiya. Oh, fuck off. It's not going to be good. Desperado and Daoki versus Yohei Nosawa Rangai. Oh, fuck off. That's not going to be any good either. You know, Ishimori and Geto versus Hayata and Seiki Yoshioka. Oh, fuck off. So, like, it fails on that level. So I am not excited. I will watch it, John, and I will review it with you. All things going well in the plan to watch this. But I right now, before on the last show of the year for Post Wrestling, I'm not excited about January 8th. I really am not.
Well, we will see. The fact that this is a New Japan show, I mean, are you expecting like New Japan commentary, New Japan refs? I mean, it's just going to be, is there going to be any sort of just putting on the illusion of like interpromotional?
So my understanding is that I think Kevin Kelly announced this like on Twitter that him and Chris Charlton will be doing the live English broadcast of this. Right. And then Stuart Fulton and Mark Pickering will do the post-production live or it might be live, but they're not going to broadcast it until it's that their version is the Noah version is shown on Wrestle Universe. So, but if you order the pay-per-view, you get the English option. It sounds like it's Kelly and Charlton like doing like the live pay-per-view in English for everybody who wants that option.
Okay, well that's cool. So there you go. You will have multiple English options after the fact as well. So there you go. So once again, we will have shows up on Tuesday and Wednesday, which will be Post Wrestling Cafe shows. So if you're patrons, you will get those shows on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then we will be putting out the show with myself and WH next Saturday, covering the New Japan Noah card. Before we get to the year-end awards, quickly just wanted to do an update on All Japan because they will be kicking off their year with their New Year Wars shows beginning on January the 2nd. And they are without a Triple Crown champion. Jake Lee broke his nose. And as a result, his match with Abdullah Kobayashi, which I'm not going to lie, WH, there was I was kind of looking forward to this. Jake Lee and Abdullah Kobayashi to kick off the year. But that is not going to happen. So the January 2nd show at Korakuen Hall will feature T-Hawk and El Lindemann against Hokuto Omori and Yusuke Kodama in the main event. And then they're back the next day with another show with Suwama and Shotaro Ishino defending the world tag titles against Kento Miyahara and Yuma Aoyagi, which should be a pretty excellent tag title main event. But Jake Lee is out for an extended period of time, probably until his nose heals.
I feel bad for Jake Lee. I really do. He's had like the worst year. Even though he became Triple Crown champion, it was under like the shittiest circumstances. You know, he didn't win it from Suwama because Suwama got COVID. He won in a really weird 3-way gauntlet bullshit thing. This happened. You got this kind of bad look to All Japan Wrestling with like people like, Iwamoto leaving and the returning Naoya Nomura, John, returned for one match, his farewell match, because he's fucking leaving All Japan because apparently everyone in the company fucking hates Tajiri because he's the booker and he's shit at it. Which I could have told you, like, oh yeah, he's a shit booker, but now it's been confirmed apparently by people in the company.
Given your disdain for so many bookers, that should have been an award was worst booker because you have no shortage of candidates. So you would have to pick one.
You want me to pick one? Worst booker of 2022? It's fucking Tajiri, John. It's fucking because like All Japan in 2021 and 2022, I had legit excitement. It's not a perfect promotion by any stretch of the imagination, and there's a lot of things I can critique about anyone, like whether it was Shuji Ishikawa when he was booking and stuff like that. But like to have so many people leaving, like including Zeus and stuff, like these people, I don't think they're leaving if it wasn't for fucking Tajiri. So like at least Osawa Rangai isn't fucking making everyone fucking leave Noah, and Geto's not like, and Dick Togo, but people might be not happy with like Dick Togo apparently, but like they're not fucking leaving New Japan. Tajiri is like actively making people quit the fucking company. So he's the runaway fucking winner of worst booker of the year.
I like how you also gave him a new first name as well, multiple times in that tirade. So there you go. Worst Booker crowned by WH Park. So that will take us now to WH's year-end awards. You have a few categories here, so I'm going to tee it up for you. Let us start off with Best Wrestler of 2021. The winner is
Syuri. No doubt about it. The person.
Did she clinch it on Wednesday?
She clinched. I mean, she clinched.
Or was she your pick already?
She was my pick after the June match, John. Like the first match with Utami. Like to me, and like.
What was your favorite? Like, throw out the 20-minute draw between June and December.
Oh, the June match was my favorite of their 3-match series. But it's not just that, It's not just like she had awesome matches with everybody defending that that SWA title, which I hate. But hey, you know, like it's on Syuri. Okay, I'll accept it. By the way, as a side note, I hope they just unify the title, like those two belts, the SWA title and the World of Stardom, and just. You know, like that's done. SWA is done. There's only the red belt.
What is the significance of the SWA title? I don't even know its lineage.
It's like the belt they had when fucking Tony Storm was like in Stardom, I think.
Okay.
And it's like, why do you still have it? Because it's like another. It's like when WCW had the WCW World Heavyweight Champion, and then they had the NWA International Champion. That's what it's kind of like. That's the best analogy I could come up with. It's like, it's fucking useless. There's no point in having it. So just get rid of it. It doesn't even look like a Stardom title. Like, I fucking hate that. It's just, if you're going to make all the belts look like stars, then do that. Like, I really hope they change the high speed title to look like a fucking Stardom belt. Please. Just do me that fucking solid, please.
Best tag team.
Best tag team. So I picked Syuri not for best wrestling, not just because of her singles work, but also because she's in the best fucking tag team of the year too, John, with Julia, the Alto Livello Kapalawan, which in English means high level craziness. You know, like these two, they brought some like stability to those goddesses of Stardom tag team titles, and every match they had, every title defense they had, John, was fucking awesome. And also they just upped their gear game every fucking time too, and is like incredible. You know, I think they peaked with like their homage to like Daft Punk maybe, but Syuri just like was the best wrestler. She was in the best tag team for me. Like, so it's just, and Julia, great chemistry with Syuri, and she was fucking awesome in all these matches too. Like the great thing about this tag team was like Julia was like, okay, I'm a big enough star, so I'm gonna let Syuri like shine for the most part in a lot of our tag team matches together in our title defenses. And to me, that's helped Syuri become the star that she eventually became in this past year and stuff like that. So like, yeah, it's without a doubt, like Julia and Syuri, best tag team. And also, you know, best wrestler is Syuri.
Well, let's see if Syuri is going to run the table here. Best match.
So yeah, Syuri versus Utami Hayashishita from June 12th, 2021 from Oda City Gymnasium. I love this match. Like, I still think about this match now, John. Like, I think
definitely one of the most, forget just the quality, definitely one of the most important matches this year. Again, this is all relative to the growth that they had, but this was a match that undeniably made a difference in business for Stardom.
I remember the aftermath of this match, you know,
huge.
Like, people who don't follow any Joshi are talking about this match. People are like, oh, it's getting so much buzz, I better watch it. And they don't fucking watch any Japanese wrestling, or they don't watch any Joshi, and they watched this match and they were like, oh yeah, like I don't even know who these wrestlers are, but this match was fucking amazing. And yeah, I definitely think the buzz from this really helped Stardom get to the number 2 position in you know, box office sales in Japan. But you know, I gotta also say, like, this match is tied with another match that also happened from Oda City Gymnasium the day after, and it's a match that I still think about, and it's kind of a dark horse match, John. And I really want people to go out and watch this match, and when you do, go out and read. There's tons of articles, and I'll tell you how to find them on Google and stuff like that. But I really recommend people watch Team Sendai Girls, Chihiro Hashimoto, Dash Chisako and Mika Wada taking on Team Marvelous, Mei Hoshizuki, Mio Momono, and Rin Katakura in the Gaiism Decade of Quarter Century show from June 13th, the day after the Stardom show, at Oda City Gymnasium again. And this match, this was a 6-person tag match that was for is an elimination match. It's for the revitalized AAW title, AAW tag team title, and the Sendai Girls world title, and the Sendai Girls tag team title. All rights, elimination, 6-person tag team match. And even if you don't know who any of these fucking people are, John, you will watch this match and you will come away thinking that Hichiro Hashimoto is the baddest person in all of wrestling, the toughest person in all of wrestling, and that Mio Momono is the greatest underdog babyface in all of wrestling since fucking Ricky Morton. And I don't say that lightly, but go watch this. And then when you watch this match, and then you want to I want to know the story behind this. Okay, there's a lot of articles in English because like all the Joshi nerds out there fucking wrote about it, and I'd say that lovingly. I use nerds in a loving way, unlike when I say it on MC Later for all the people who nitpick all the fucking trailers. Is that people write about this, and if you type in Team Sendai Girls versus or Sendai Girls versus Marvelous, if you type in Gaiaism, GAEAISM, you'll probably find links to the articles written about this match, and you'll get a lot of backstory on this. But go out of your way to watch this match. That's again June 13th, 2021, Oda City Gymnasium. Gaiism, Decade of Quarter Century is the name of this show. It's Sendai Girls versus Marvelous, one of the greatest 6-person tag matches I've ever seen in my life. And that's saying something because I watched a lot of fucking Dragon Gate in my life.
After that weekend at Oda Ward City Gymnasium, I think on the Monday they had a LARPing convention there.
Well, that can go fuck itself because LARPers are nerds.
The final category, the best card of 2021.
Well, John, before the Stardom show, which wins, Dream Queendom is the number one show. But before that, I was thinking the Cyber Fight Festival from June 6th from the Saitama Super Arena. June was a fucking wonderful time for professional wrestling from Japan, John.
The question was, what a great time it's been for Japanese wrestling?
No, June was a great fucking month.
I thought you were
Japanese professional wrestling.
I heard John and you said June. I'm sorry.
I said they sound sort of similar, but no, it's Dream Queendom, Stardom's Dream Queendom from Ryogoku from this past week. John, I have a simple test to determine whether a show overall is really, really good. And that's the go fuck off scale. And there was no go fuck off at all. Zero go fuck off. And I'm at least guaranteed in 2021, at least 2 go fuck offs for any other major men's promotion in Japan from this. And definitely I don't watch Raw, but I'm pretty sure I would have multiple go fuck off moments if I watched all 3 hours of Raw.
I doubt it, WH. I think you'd be enthralled if you gave Raw a chance in 2022, but we're not going to subject you to that.
No, John, I'm telling you, if you create the super tier and you get enough, patrons for the super tier, I will watch Monday Night Raw and review it with you and Wei.
We don't want to kill you. That would be poor business on our part here at Post Wrestling. So we need to keep WH fresh and revived with we'll give you so much awful stuff, but it needs to be equaled out by things that give you life and optimism.
Well, that's why I'm hoping my Japanese wrestling in 2022 is a lot better. So we shall see. Yes.
Obviously, Stardom is high on your company to watch in 2022. Is there any other company that you see there is a scene that is forming that has garnered your interest that you're going to be watching a bit more closely? Maybe not one of the obvious ones like All Japan or Noah, but is there anything that's kind of just you're watching and seeing if maybe there could be some advances made in the new year?
For me, it's always been a thing for me to want to start rewatching Dragon Gate.
Yeah,
on a more consistent basis, and I don't know what it is. Like
it's a big blind spot for me. Like it's certainly a company I wish I could spend more time focused on, because I read reviews. It seems like a company I would certainly get into, and it's more so just a sacrifice of time. Yeah,
it's just time, but it's weird for me because as you know, John, I used to fucking love Toryumon and Dragon Gate, where I've I would get the tapes and later the DVDs when it became Dragon Gate and stuff like that. And for what seemingly is like a peak period of the company, especially advancing like a new class of wrestlers, a new generation of wrestlers to main event spots. It's like, why aren't I watching this? So like, it's something I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, but I'm going to kind of make kind of a New Year's resolution to try to watch more Dragon Gate and talk about it on the shows in the future.
Well, WH, I want to thank you for another great year of shows. I always enjoy doing these with you, and I look forward to many more in 2022. You are obviously a huge part of the site, so I appreciate all the hard work you put into these shows and making sure everyone is up to date on what is going on at Oda Ward City Gymnasium on a nightly basis, and uncovering a lot of stuff that maybe goes unchecked otherwise, because to the post-wrestling universe out there, WH Park, much like Cody Rhodes' new shirt, not a babyface, not a heel, but WH Park is a winner.
Can I just say something about that shirt, John?
I am teeing you up for your final address of 2021.
Listen, this fucking shirt, I just had so many thoughts when I saw it. When someone in the BritRes podcasting community put it in that chat group that somehow I'm a member of, and I won't say who put it up there, and I won't say what the response was. I'm like, oh, that shirt is just in time for an anniversary that's coming up for the demographic that shirt's obviously for. Like, this shirt is fucking shit, okay? Like, you know what you should do is don't buy that fucking shirt. Go buy the fucking Post Puroresu t-shirt, because designed by Robert Pearson, because it's fucking awesome. Or go buy the fucking Pillars t-shirt, the Long and Winding Road t-shirt. That's fucking even more awesome than anything related to not a heel, not a babyface, not a heel. Where the fuck it says? But like, what does it say? Winner? More should be fucking loser. That's what it should say. But yeah, let me tell you something. Way's got this idea for a new shirt. I'm not going to say what it is. Hopefully it comes out sometime soon next year. Buy that instead. Save your money. It's going to be an epic new t-shirt from the WH Park corner of fucking post wrestling. But can I just say, John, like I gotta put over some people who've actually bought t-shirts, the good ones. Let me thank William from William Corliss here. He bought the Long and Winding Road t-shirt. Good on you, William. Thank you so much for that. Also, Paul Delos Santos, thank you for also buying the Long and Winding Road t-shirt. And you can buy these t-shirts and be winners like these two gentlemen if you go to store.postwrestling.com and click on those t-shirts, plus a multitude of other great t-shirts, including the Waiting Sharing Your Brain with John Pollock t-shirt. That's a very perennial favorite among many people.
A classic. WH and I will be back a week from Saturday to review the New Japan Noah card, and Way and I are returning Saturday night after WWE Day 1. So that is it for us. Happy New Year, everybody, and thank you for listening to Post Puroresu.
Becoming a magician takes thousands of hours, right, Ashley?
Oh, I'm not a magician. I'm a design specialist at the Container Store.
But you transform closets and pantries.
Well, I turn your most frustrating spaces into ones you love.
With a magic wand?
With Alpha, our customizable, adjustable, and affordable shelving and drawer system.
The amazing Ashley! Making daily frustration disappear.
Just doing my job.
Transform your space with Alpha and save 20% on purchases over $500. Get started with your free design at the Container Store today.